around.
Hello, how you doing? Welcome to the RoRoShow. How does it feel? Are you feeling good being on the RoRoShow? Are you excited?
Yes,
to dive
I'm
in?
excited.
That's
Yeah, very excited. Right, looking forward to the questions. It's nice to have a conversation about these kind of things.
Yeah. Well, it's good to meet you. So tell me, how did you get started into DJing? I have to say, I work at home. I do a 9 to 5 job, and I watch I listen to your SoundCloud, and I watch your videos on YouTube, and it just takes me into another place, and I'm like, I wish I could not work right now. So you're not good for productivity, but it does sound amazing. So how did you get started with this? It's amazing.
Yeah, I started with a wish now to do this, but it started in London. But 10 years ago, I used to live there. Yeah, and then I had a lot of friends who were involved in music, musicians, bands, promoters, DJs, and I always saw it as something far, something that I love and I wish I could do it, but I felt it was something hard, to get in and stuff. And then I just was collecting records for myself and hanging out with all these very inspiring friends. And then one day when I expressed to them that it would be nice, they straight away supported me, got me a turntable, they got me a mixer, they went with me record shopping, they let me play in their gigs, their parties, after their concerts.
So how did you meet these friends of yours then? So are they all DJs and music makers as well?
Yeah, I think because since I'm always, forever, I've been really into music. And I realize when I look back that I always end up hanging out with people who are really into music, right? And then in London, I just fell by chance, not chance, but because I had a musician friend, just going to concerts and meeting other friends who were doing that and supporting their buying their albums, supporting them. And also there was this very nice crew in London, and it's still very cool London, but at that time I felt very DIY, and yeah, so it was easy. It was a very cozy atmosphere in East London, was in Hackney.
Oh wow, okay, so you lived in Hackney, is that right?
Yeah, Hackney.
Yeah. So what? So you're originally from Mexico, is that right? And so
yes.
And then you moved to London first, 10 years ago, and you met these friends. How did you meet them? So you just randomly, through your amazing social skills.
Yeah, it was really seems random, but at the end it's not really random. Basically, I ended up in London by accident, kind of, because my dream was to go to Berlin. So I just went to London for like a scale, let's say, a pausa on my dream of Berlin. And the only person I knew in whole England, UK, anywhere, was the brother of a friend from Mexico. And this brother of my friend from Mexico, he had lived in England for many years, and in our small city in Mexico, he was a hero. He was, whoa, the guy who lives in London and has a band. And then when I went to London by accident, the only person I knew was him, so I wrote him on Facebook, and he said, hey, nice you're here, come to my concert. And then the concert ended up to be this amazing concert in this very cool venue that doesn't exist anymore. Maybe you know the name. It was under London Bridge.
Okay, well I don't know, but I'll find out.
yeah, I forgot. It starts with S, but it was like a dungeon under London Bridge. And then there that night, I met other people, and then they ended up adopting me, basically.
Oh, nice.
And then it was really good friends. Now they're still my friends, and they were really into the indie scene, of London, and there was a lot happening at the time. So all these friends I met on that night were really involved.
And your brother's friend, was that a rock band he was in, or is it similar kind of music that you're playing and DJing in right now?
No, it was really different. It was so let's say I think it's folk
music. Okay.
Psychedelic folk. For example, they were touring with they were close to Mumford & Sons.
Okay, yeah.
This kind of vibe that at that time was really happening. That kind of vibe.
Yeah. So you made these friends who and you're inspired to do DJing, and you've always wanted to go to Berlin, right? So from London you moved to Berlin, is that right?
Yes.
What is it about Berlin? Why were you like, I need to move to Berlin? Berlin's the place to be, especially when you're in the most amazing city in the world, which is London, of course, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think London is really the best city for music.
Mm.
But since I was in school, I had this idea of Berlin
Mm-hmm.
because I had a lot of German friends
Yeah.
in my city in Mexico, and then they were showing me the side of Germany that is very nice. You know, we watch films, and they brought me always things. They brought me little things from Germany that made it look like a very cool place. Berlin. I'm talking about Berlin, no? And then I heard all these stories, and when I finished my studies, I found a flat there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I thought, I would just go for a holiday. And when I went there for a holiday, I realized it was the best city I had ever been myself. You know, I felt very free, and I felt very, because, you know, when you compare Berlin to the rest of Europe or Germany, even, everything seems kind of very well done. Everything works properly. Everything is right, and everything is efficient.
Mm-hmm.
But Berlin is an exception, I think, because at that time there was a lot of potential, because many things in the city were not really built, and there were lots of young people who had a lot of ideas. There's no money. There was not a lot of money.
Right.
Now there's this very famous phrase of Berlin at that time. There was, Berlin is poor but sexy. That I think is a bit cringy, but it was even the phrase they were using that phrase a lot. So Berlin had not a lot of money, but a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that, because I felt it's a place where you can do anything, and that's what appealed me.
Yeah. So when you were in Berlin, what did you do? Were you working as a DJ as well then, or did you have a different job?
Yeah, I was a teacher.
Oh, nice. What did you
Yes,
teach?
I taught in a high school, and at first I was an art teacher for kindergarten,
Mm-hmm.
and then from the school where the kindergarten was, they promoted me to Spanish teacher for high school.
Okay.
So I was
Is that a
just
promotion? That's a
yeah, but I
promotion.
know
Yeah.
it was a promotion, but I like more the working with the kindergarten kids.
Mm-hmm.
But on the side, I was playing in bars or parties.
So on the side, you were doing a bit of DJ work, but but full time teacher. What kind of teacher were you? Were you a strict teacher, or were you a?
No, I should have been more strict. No, I was strict with some things, but with other things I was not so strict, and then that was a little bit. How do you say? No, it's an example. Now, I was strict with what I thought it was important, but it was a very strict school where I had to be also reminding them of the uniform and the chewing gum and no. And then with that, sometimes I forgot, but I think I was okay.
Yeah, at school I was constantly on uniform report. So yeah, we had that. I guess my school that I was in is strict like that. We had to adhere to those types of those types of ideals. I guess you could say, being well dressed with a tie up and all that kind of stuff.
Like English school style.
Yeah, exactly. English school style. So so your friends in London. I mean, obviously you learned about DJing. You wanted to get into DJing, and then in Berlin you were doing that. In the evening times, I guess. And you still wanted to do it. You're still you were thinking, oh, I need to make this my full-time job. I'm going to quit being a teacher and I'm going to move on to being a DJ full time. Is that correct, or do you?
Yeah, but it took a long time for me to think like that. I always saw it as a something on the side.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought, I will be a DJ and do this and this and that.
Right, yeah. So you moved. You're saying you live in Amsterdam now, right? So when did you move from Berlin to Amsterdam?
Last year.
Last year, wow. Okay.
Before COVID, basically.
Okay, now you're stuck in Amsterdam and you want to get back to London because that's the best place to be, right? Yeah. So in Amsterdam, you're working you're full-time DJ and you do that, online, I guess, at the moment in COVID times.
Yeah, because exactly, the last 5 years that I've been properly playing, the DJing, let's say, I always had in mind, I like the idea of having my proper job, like a safe job, let's say, to be free and play. and take the gigs I want and not depend on that. And then 2019 went really good for me. So I thought maybe it was a good moment to try how it will be to just be a DJ.
Okay.
But then COVID started.
So are you a full-time DJ then, or are you not working apart from the odd set here and there?
At the moment, yes, and some little jobs like in record shops.
Okay.
Yeah, at the moment it's a bit of a limbo moment. Yeah.
So, I mean, do you have any other interests outside of DJing, or that is like all you do and think about all day, or do you have other interests?
No, really. I think it's kind of even new. I just want to be a DJ is kind of new, or I don't even think I want to only be a DJ. No. For example, I really enjoy radio. I like it, and I think it's different, right? You're still selecting and you're still choosing music, listening to music, but it's a different thing than playing for people in parties.
Mm-hmm. What makes it different? What do you think makes it different?
That's when you go to a party, it's kind of work to keep the vibe going on, or to keep the energy, to make people dance. People expect to make people dance. Mm-hmm. So making people dance and keeping a good, making them have a good time. Mm-hmm. And radio is also like that, have a good time. But I think with radio you can explore other things too, and be more take a bit slower, taking it a bit slower, and not necessarily making a dance hour, or you don't have to necessarily make people dance, so that's less pressure.
So when you do have a DJ set, what is the mental process? Do you have to sort of analyze the crowd and see what they like and feel the energy? How do you get into it?
Yeah, like that, like checking what's the vibe, exactly like that. And first try, okay, you give little things. Okay, that's nice. They like this. Okay, that means I can play this. Mm-hmm. Like steps.
Yeah.
Steps, like giving little tries, and I always feel like you give little bites of things, and when then there's something they say, oh, we really like this, then you can give them the full meal.
Oh, nice.
Of that, no?
Yeah, the full platter.
Then you can bring that platter, and then I think once they are happy with what you're doing, when I'm doing, then you can take them to other places too.
And how's it different for radio then? So when you're on radio, you have a set like a selection that you've chosen beforehand, and then you go with it. Is that right?
Yeah. I select more. I'm more owning, the selection. For example, if there's no one calling me, no, you should not play this, or there's not a crowd there, I have to keep moving. People come with me or not, no?
Yeah.
On radio, but on a dance floor, it's horrible when people leave, no?
Yeah. Do you ever get people asking you to play things on the DJ set? They're like, play this, and you're like, no, I want to play this.
Yeah, that's normal. Always. I mean, not always, but it happens. Yes.
Yeah. So, with your DJ journey, is there things that you do now that you never used to do? Like, there's some changes in the way that you do things.
With DJing?
Yeah, so the way that you DJ'd a couple of years ago to now, or is there a significant change? Have you matured in the way that you DJ?
Yeah, there was this time, because when I started to play records with my friends, we played everything. And we're a group of friends from really everywhere, England, France, Turkey, Germany, Japan. So when we got together, we played anything. You could hear anything, and our parties, I think, were really fun.
Great.
And then there was a time where I got really into playing a lot of cumbia. Yeah, so it was fun because that was fun. I like that music. But then I started to get labeled as that DJ who plays that.
Okay.
And then
you don't want to be labeled.
No, especially not with that, because I like cumbia, but it was not my only passion, or I like other things. So I started to. That's what you said. 2 years ago, what I was doing. Then it's a bit more than 2 years ago, when I decided I want to give it a try to play other things, even if people expect me to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, do you have any musical inspirations? Are there people, other DJs out there that you're really inspired by that you kind of look to for inspiration?
Yeah, for example, my friends who started to, who started me, like who were based in London at the time, and now they're not in London anymore. I really like their style of DJing at that time. Because they are the first people I saw playing with vinyl and also without necessarily mixing,
Right.
and that's very. And they really also went everywhere with genres, and they were very inspiring for me. And also, let me think. Yeah, there is Palo Santo Discos, who I'm learning a lot from him, and also someone who's been always an inspiration for me since I'm on my teens is Jack Peterson.
Okay.
So that's cool. So it's really inspiring, and yeah, and I'm sure there's more, but now I'm thinking, oh, who else?
Do you
If
think?
if I think of someone like
Yeah,
that,
please do. Yeah, of course. Fire away. Do you think there's a certain kind of mindset that you have to have? Like, I feel like creative people or people that are into DJing, they tend to be very free thinking and like free spirited, and maybe that helps them explore different things. Do you think you have to have a certain mindset to be a good DJ?
wow, I think maybe to be a good DJ, it's helpful to be open
Hmm.
and to not get stuck on the same, and to be also open for what the people are feeling, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's feeling people's vibes and energy. That's something which is challenging. Not everyone can do that.
It's true, because sometimes you have a good person who has an amazing collection of records, but then once they go into the dance floor, then it doesn't work as you think. But because maybe necessarily that they have a good record collection doesn't mean they are good DJs, and the other way around.
Yeah, it's interesting because I watch the Boiler Room quite a lot. I don't know if you watch the Boiler Room on YouTube. There's a channel which
Mm,
has loads of different DJs and stuff and live sets sometimes. And what I find is that some DJs are very technical. They love the transition. They like to get into the nitty gritty of creating a really cool transition. Some just like to explore different types of music and put it all together.
yeah.
Would you say that you're a combination of the both? Do you like the technical side? Or, do you like kind of figuring out new ways to mix one track to the next?
I enjoy, yeah, actually, I cannot deny that when you find a good transition is really exciting. Like, wow,
Because your
that was
transitions
cool.
are really smooth, I have to say. They just like
Ah,
they set very. So I wonder if you put a lot of time into that, or it's just natural. You just
yeah, no, I don't put too much time on it.
okay,
But
okay,
that's why maybe sometimes I'm like, but then that's why sometimes it's when I listen back, I think, why did I do that? But I think it's quite instinctual. You say that?
instinctive.
And it's not necessarily for the mixing, but for the vibe
Yeah,
more.
yeah. So what is the process? So when you go to a record shop, obviously you can't do that at the moment because of COVID and lockdown and
Mm,
stuff. When you go into the stores and you look through different tunes and you maybe listen to them and you put on some headphones maybe and what is it about one song that you think, okay, I need to buy this record, I need to keep it and make sure I play it on my next show. Like, what is the mental process? I was talking to a
yeah.
friend actually before you answer that about this, and he said I don't like to analyze my creative process, but I wonder if you're the same, or do you think about that?
Yeah, it's true. It's a process, no, but it's to put it into words. It's how can I say? I think it's about what you get a lot of when you go through a lot of records.
Hmm.
You start noticing elements that you like, right? And then, for example, if I don't have enough time, when I go to a place where I know I don't have enough time, and there's a lot of records to listen to, and I go quicker, that's when I realize, oh, that's the process. Now, if I'm just hanging out, listening to this or that, I don't think so much. But when I go to a place with little time, I first listen to the beginning. And if that catches me, then I go to the to check what is going on. And if there's some instruments that I like more than others, for example, or some the sound, that sounds certain way that doesn't sound so mm, cold, or the end, or if there's any breaks that I will hate, or if the song changes into another thing, or Yeah, I don't know. It's good. It's a good question, but let me see. I hope I.
What do you think you focus on first? So when you hear a track, for me, I'm really into melody because I play guitar and I like to say I can sing, but I can't probably. But you know, I like to listen. I'm really into melody, but some of my friends are really into rhythm and they want to get into the groove. Would you say that one thing reaches out to you first?
I will say melody too.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that with your tunes. They're very melodic, very dreamy, and you know there's a lot of pop as well. You know, it's easy listening, and anyone can kind of just go in there and start dreaming for a while. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice. Thanks. I mean, thanks for that.
no worries.
I like that.
If you need more compliments, I'm here. I'm here for you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So, do you think that because part of being a DJ obviously is promotion as well and marketing yourself. Do you think that's changed quite a lot with COVID times? Have you struggled with that, or do you think it's actually better because people are on their phones more and looking through things?
Yeah. Actually, yeah. For me, it went a bit more than before, because I always felt Instagram, for example, which is what I use the most, was a tool, and not a tool, but it is a tool. It is a tool.
Mm.
But
Well,
I thought it
yeah.
was an extra, right? To promote, to talk more about. But now it became the thing to be the only place where one of the only places where you could really say I'm doing this and this and that, and then you can take them somewhere else. No, so I felt at the beginning, because now it's been a year, so a year is long. But at the beginning, I felt everybody was there, and we were all feeding it, and wow, right. And I don't know why, but I feel the last couple of months is going kind of slow.
Hmm.
I see less. I see a lot of my friends not posting anything. I see a lot of people talking about how they're fed up with it.
People don't like social media as much as what they used to.
Right? I feel that. So that makes me wonder of, oh, is what I'm posting relevant? Is what I'm posting what people want to know? And then that leads me to, oh, then I should not post anything then, because what's relevant now? The vaccine, or I don't know what is
Mm.
relevant, right? And then that makes me, I find thinking a lot about these things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, music, when do you think that, like, for you, when is the best time for you to listen to music? Like, what do you use music as a source for? Like, is it, when you go for a walk and you listen to music, you're like, this is the best time where you can kind of just listen in and enjoy. Like, for you, what is the best time to listen to music?
When I wake up.
When you wake up. So do you have
Yeah.
an alarm clock which has music?
Yes, but then I hate the songs after a few days.
Mm.
No, the song you choose, then I hate it after.
You get sick of it. It gets stuck in your brain for a couple of days.
Yeah, but I really had this when I used to live on my own. I had this thing that as soon as I woke up, I put on music straight,
Yeah.
and then that helped me to stand up,
Mm.
yeah, leave the bed.
Yeah. It's like having a shower. It's
Yeah,
like it just sort of freshens you up and you get ready for the day.
yeah, true.
Yeah, I think for me, I think I use music, as I guess a medicine sometimes. It just feels nice and, it takes you to different places, and you have, gives you different vibes. But do you think that, the way that you listen to music has changed as well with COVID times? As you were saying, people have other things on their mind about, vaccinations and health, and there's a lot of, negative things that are going on. But do you
Yeah.
think that music gives people a bit of a relief?
Well, that's what I'm hoping. To somebody I spoke to today said something very nice to me. Said that when everything opens up and we start to gather again, and we were talking about how it will be a little bit awkward, right, at the beginning, and back to playing music and back to do stuff normally. And then this person said it will be they need people like us, uh, people who play music to set the vibe
Mm.
and to make everybody come together. And I really thought, that's a great way to see it, because sometimes I'm thinking, yeah, what am I doing, for this year that is very hard for everybody? I'm wondering what I do to make the world better. And at least I think the music right now helps a lot of people to get through
Mm.
with the radio shows, or with recommending albums, getting records. I don't know, in any way. For me, it's radio. And I guess when everything goes back to normal, gathering, making nice little parties, and
Yeah, I think
yeah.
everyone. I was talking to my dad about this a couple of days ago. He said after lockdown, he really thinks that there's going to be like a movement like in the '60s that everyone's just going to go out and party for a long time because people have missed so much time. A lot of younger people haven't been able to go out and enjoy
Yeah.
themselves. So maybe there will be a new, I guess, scene. And yeah, music always has that ability to bring people together and connect. So I mean, is there any like tunes or songs that you're embarrassed to like?
mm, okay, not embarrassed, but it's something I will never play. It's music from the place where I am.
What,
Uh,
Mexico?
yeah, but because I'm from the north of Mexico, really like not right in the border, but not far from the border. And there, the one of the music genres that is very strong is ranchera,
Okay,
and there's a lot. It's kind of schlager, so that's something I could not play really,
right.
like here, unless it's a Mexican party. Then it's a different story. But and then that's a different rhythm. It's schlager. It's kind of brass music, and there's a few songs I like, especially because they remind me to my childhood, no?
Hmm.
And there's also sometimes I like some, not embarrassed, but sometimes I just would like to play some things that are hits. For example, the other day on YouTube I was checking this song by 10, what's the name of this one, 10cc, 10cc,
10cc. Okay.
like I know, like I'm not in love, so don't you get, this song.
I don't know the song, but
Okay, then I'm singing it, but
yeah,
but songs like that I just think, oh, if it wasn't such a hit, I would play it.
right.
It's just about this,
It's
that,
too popular.
yeah, it's like something you would sing in the karaoke.
Hmm. So when you were in London and you were kind of exploring new songs and you made new friends, and do you think is there a particular style that of music that you heard there that you got into, or is it a lot from your past in Mexico and your youth that has inspired the music that you like right now? Is it what is which city have you got the most inspiration from? Should I say?
Yeah, that's good, and I like that question because I'm thinking about it a lot, because sometimes people, when they, for example, in the descriptions when I play somewhere or I get invited somewhere, they say I'm Mexican, no? And yes, I'm Mexican, and I have a lot of music. My music suitcase is very based there, right? That's true. But then I I went to live to so many other places that I felt everywhere I went, I got I got an extra package on my suitcase of music. Let's call it like this, no?
Your
So
passport.
my passport of music. So before I went to London, I was in France too, though. And then France, and then there's London, and there's Berlin. And then I could see that in every place it was something different. But I really think it was in London where I got the most, especially because there was so much going on. And then I was also a bit, I was on early 20s, so I was more into exploring all kinds of stuff. And I saw a lot. I went, at that time, I was really into seeing concerts. I was into concerts at the time, and I went to see any band. And I was amazed of how much was in such a small, because I'm talking about East London even, and how much was there in East London, and also all these festivals, and then the radios, all the magazines, the newspapers. So I think London was like a shot of a new doors, yeah, and people also.
Is that why you moved in the first place? Did you want to just open up and explore and find new things and new people?
To move to London.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I guess there's two parts of the question. I mean, moving to London, but also why did you move around so much in Europe? Did you want to? Did you just want to feel different cities and get different vibes and meet new people, or is it what was your motivations? Is it be good
yeah.
to know?
I feel when I moved from Mexico, I feel since I'm a child, I was always wanting to go somewhere, no? And then as soon as I finished school, I went. No, even before when I was 17, I went to France. right? And then I feel there was always this curiosity for what's happening somewhere else. And but then it was different. I also was more like the flow. No, at London, when we were in London at the time, I felt, yeah, I think London, it's it's fine now. And then there was this chance to go to Berlin. I took it straight. And same with Amsterdam. There was this chance to come now, and then I took it.
So
So
you're one of those that stay in the present moment and just sort of go with the flow with things. You don't like to you're not like me who analyze everything that we do.
yeah, maybe yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. That's a good description. Probably it's to see what happens. But I could see myself in Amsterdam for a long time.
Yeah, I went to Amsterdam once, like a couple of years ago, and yeah, it's a city where you can easily fall in love with it. It's something I don't know what it is about Amsterdam, but it's got this vibe, that's this energy to it, which is really nice.
True.
Yeah,
Kind of cozy. Cozy is not too big.
exactly. So I remember listening to another interview that you had before, because I'm a huge fan, right? So I do my research, and you talked about how you like having a group with you. You like the collective together. Do you find that in Amsterdam you have that? You have that kind of group where you can share and be creative with.
Mm, yeah, actually, at the beginning when I just moved, Corona started. It was very hard. That part for me was very hard, right? And now I realize slowly there's a little group getting together, and it's very nice. It's right on our building. It's our neighbors and friends, so it's amazing because my neighbors are starting to become that kind of group of people, and we do things together. And then a few other music friends who don't live so far, so it's starting
It doesn't
to
sound
get.
like it's very difficult for you to make friends. I mean, what's your secret? How do you just how do you connect with so many people? I mean, on your YouTube, you're well connected. You've done so many different shows on different channels. How what? Tell me. Let me write some notes.
I don't know. That's a nice, also another nice thing. Thank you. I think it's maybe to make friends you have to like people. I guess I'm interested. I don't know. I think I really am interested in people. You too, I guess, because you have this show, right? I
Yeah,
think it comes from there. To be interested in people is a very good start to make friends.
yeah.
Yeah, and also it's nice to put people together and to have a nice vibe.
Hmm.
So when you are the one who makes it possible, for example, in this case through music, it's very, very rewarding.
And do you think that's still possible in lockdown? Then do you think having that kind of connection with people is easy to do? Or you can with Skype and Zoom and all that kind of stuff, or is it not the same?
No, I think it's not the same, but honestly, I feel that since lockdown number two, I'm start to call friends again.
Oh, really?
All right, before was everything text, like WhatsApp or messages like this, and finding very nice the last weeks to phone call.
Oh, really? I think people they've got to the realization that it's COVID is not going away, so they're making do with what is going on and sort of trying to connect how they
True.
do. Do you
Yeah.
so you moved around a lot, you traveled a lot, and you said you said you were on a journey. Do you think you're still on a journey? Do you think there's still more places that you want to move to, or you think you're going to settle here for a while and lock in?
Yeah, I feel like that. That Amsterdam is a good base, and that from here I can go to many places, but come back.
Right.
Yeah, I see it like this because Berlin. Even if I really like Berlin, I never saw myself there as an old person, for example.
Why is that? What makes you? Is it because it's a growing city and you don't feel like it's a place where you can settle down for a long time, or
Yeah, but I feel Berlin is fun and inspiring, but it has a very dark side too, right? Where the side that is kind of sad on the street, and a bit dark. No, I feel it, and most part of the time, I always was staying on the bright side of things in Berlin. But when I I felt it was tough. It's a place where you can be alone easy, I think. I don't know why I had this impression. It's a place where you can be alone, feel lonely easy.
Berlin, you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, not that I felt alone, but sometimes it's kind of cruel. Not just the winter and stuff. Sometimes this city has something that is so nice that at the same time is kind of cruel. And also another thing personally is that I find there was so much to do there for me that I was always having a hard time to have a break.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like not only the parties, but all these things to do. Wow, exciting! And then I felt that was really great. But I'm thinking, wow, as an old person, I don't know if this is anymore my interest
Right.
anymore, right?
Maybe you matured, and that's why you wanted to maybe move to Amsterdam. Maybe
Yeah, maybe.
maybe Amsterdam suits your vibe more. I don't know.
Maybe I'm maturing. Yeah.
Maybe you're maturing. Maybe you're a different person.
Yeah.
So after lockdown, I mean, what is your like? What do you dream about? As in, I want to do this next. This is my next thing. You know, is there something that you're on your mind that you want to really do?
Um, I mean, I have a few projects.
Tell me about them. So what projects are you working on right now, and what projects are you going to work on?
Yeah, there's a compilation coming up. Nice, and that's a good one. And the rest is really just putting all my energy on reconnecting with all these people that our like the physical relationship is in a pausa, right? All these people that I met in festivals or in London or in parties that I don't meet anymore.
Yeah.
I want to put energy on reconnecting again, not only on the internet but on real life, and having again conversations. And I feel like I want to put my energy on that, and also on my shows. I feel this my radio shows. Yeah.
Do you think that with COVID you've had a lot of time to reflect? Because that's what I've been doing. You know, you're talking about social media and not enjoying, scrolling through the feed, and some people don't like it as much. I think for me, social media definitely, I've got to saturation point where I don't necessarily want to use it as much. But are there other things that you find yourself doing less these days?
Yeah, I feel yeah, less of that. And I also feel more relaxed to not do things. I don't know. I not to do. I always had a hard time doing nothing. I still have a hard time doing nothing, and I feel maybe I'm learning to
relax.
To relax a little bit, or to not, or to be okay with do nothing, to watch a film, to watch Netflix, for example.
Yeah, it's the opposite for me.
I,
I can easily do nothing and just stare into space for
yeah.
a while and listen to your music. But yeah, no, I think a lot of people have changed. It'll be really interesting to see how things develop and how things move. And I wonder how the music industry is going to change as well. So that's something I wanted to ask you on. You know, I know you were a teacher, and now you're a full-time, DJ, and I think you have, what is it, Worldwide FM? You're playing on the radio, and
Yeah.
do you think that that could be a long-term thing, or do you think it's really difficult to make music as a full-time career?
Yeah, I think it's needs a lot of work. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. You need a lot of. I think people who want to dedicate to music 100%, you need to work very hard to make it possible. I don't know if you know this book. I guess you heard about this book called "Can Music Make You Sick?"
I haven't. No. Maybe I'll have a look and I'll put it in the link below.
Yeah, yeah. They talk about how we just accept that the music industry is hard, when actually we could change it and we could make it not so hard, right? And I think at the moment where we are, I think it's hard to, when you decide to, okay, this is not just my hobby, this is actually something I want to live off. it can be exhausting, but also a lot of fun when it's nice.
So what?
But
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I
what?
think you have to get creative. I think you have to. I will not rely on one thing only. I will try to diversify.
So what would you say to those inspiring artists that really want to DJ and just follow their dreams? Would you say go for it, follow the heart,
Mm.
or would you say you need to think twice, go
Mm.
the other direction? No, I'm kidding. Don't.
I would say, yeah, that's a nice question too. I would say, I think the only thing that should not be an excuse. No, I think sometimes it's many things are possible, but we don't believe it. We don't. We doubt way too much. And I personally, I think a lot of it. Many years, I just spent a lot of time wishing I could do this, but I was just doubting,
So
doubting.
do you think it's important to have self belief? Then you're saying you should believe in yourself and go for it.
I think, yeah, when you know that it's what you want, the doubt should not be their excuse, right? And I just feel that that if I have not doubted myself so much before, I would have started earlier. It's just no, it just came to me like this. So if I had to give an advice, would be just there's many advice, no? But this one for me is one that was something I always think. I think is something I needed to understand before. That many things are more possible than what we um, think, right? And also that one, if it's really for you, I feel one thing leads to the other, right? If music is for you, if for you this is really your passion or whatever else, if you focus on it, I think one thing leads to the other. If that's what you really want, that's my thing.
That's nice. That's really heartwarming. Um,
Ah.
yeah, I think so. I mean, I have the same dilemma because as I said, I make music and I play guitar and I pretend I can sing. But obviously, it would be nice to make that a full time career. But it's just at the moment it's very difficult. But
Okay.
do you think that the industry will change? Do you think that there's potential for because I know I was speaking to a friend about this the other day, and he was saying that streaming services, they don't pay very well. One little click is 0.0001p or something. So do you think that will change? Do you think there's better ways to make money with music?
I think there's a lot of people working on that at the moment. There's a lot, there was a lot of conversations about how unfair the payment is, and there's a lot of people trying to bring alternatives. There's also a lot of discussion about how hard will be to beat a platform like Spotify, for example, or YouTube. No, it's very hard to come up with something alternative to that. And I think it's possible that this whole year of, let's say, music drama, will make people start to think. But I think it will take a while. The thing that I think what I think is going to change in this near future is that people are going to invest more on the local
Local
scenes.
side, more community based music.
Yeah, and more relying less on the big companies, on the big names, on the big platforms, no? And then doing more collective things. Now, I've seen a lot on Instagram, for example. I've seen a lot of people doing workshops on how to run this, how to do that, how to do your own podcast, for example, how to sort out your taxes if you are this. There's a lot of community education going on, and I think that's a very good thing. So that will eventually make things change.
So is that your belief? You think that people in the local level coming together and helping each other out is the way that you could change things?
I feel at the moment I guess there's more things to, but at the moment I think that's the one I have more hope on that it's gonna work, right? Because the other one is super big, long term change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting because again, I was talking to this one friend. He's actually got a podcast. Maybe I'll link you
Yeah.
to him. But he was talking about how musicians or people that are DJs, they do it because it comes from the heart. They just love doing it. They love the energy. A lot of these corporations, they take advantage of that. It's almost
Mm.
like it's natural to want to make music. It's just part of being a human being. But they take advantage of that and make the price very small for the artists. Do you think that hopefully with local level people coming together that won't happen, or do you think that will always be the case?
Yeah, I think that will always that will always be there, right? Because I think like what your friend said about these companies, yeah, we see them like, yeah, why are they doing this and why are they paying so little and why are they abusing this? But at the end, they have such a big reach that if they come with an offer to you, will be very hard. I mean, to me or anyone, will be very hard to say no.
Do you think music?
So
Do you think music takes out the passion and the creativity sometimes? Do you think that people sell themselves out and then they don't necessarily make as much good music as they used to, or do you think that's not the case?
mm, I guess it happens sometimes, or like sometimes we forget about. I guess if it's an artist that is very focused, it could not happen. Like it's an artist that it stays in touch with himself or herself. It's not so hard to corrupt their art, right? So I think even if they are big or this or small, if the artist knows that this is what they want, it's very hard to let these corporations or yeah, yeah, to ruin. Yeah, I think it's very hard to
It's
lose
case
that.
by case, I guess. Yeah, as well, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
Yeah. So let's go back to some positivity.
yeah. I was like,
So obviously you DJ, and you're a very good DJ. I love your DJing. But is there any other art that you do as well? You said you were an art teacher back in the day. Do you paint and do other stuff?
no, not paint, but I was an art teacher. Yes, I was very because I was into. I was studying art therapy. I studied art therapy,
Hmm.
and I really like the part of the drama therapy and all this, but I never really went into another art form,
So
not fully,
what is art therapy then? So what do they teach you? Is it just how to use art to help people feel better?
Yeah, it's about how to. Okay, the one I did was more focused on teachers, so it was about how, as a teacher, use art with your students to help them deal with life situations or daily life things, or how to understand people through art, basically. And then because I think music, for example, we've been talking about this about how music does this, and music is an example. Now sometimes you just don't have to talk to someone, but then music helps this person to let it out or dance, or after listening to a song you feel in a different way. And that's just an example, no? So as a art therapist, you have to be aware and sensitive to know, okay, maybe that's what I should do. Yeah.
And do you think that has helped you with your DJing as well then? So do you use that skill
Mm. I
to
think so.
mm,
I think it helps. And it helps. I cannot say no. Yeah, I think it helps to know, to be a bit more aware
right.
and receptive. And yeah, this definitely does.
Yeah. Well, it was very nice talking to you, and
Hey,
I feel like I can talk to you for hours.
yeah,
Maybe you should come back on the show. You should
sure.
if you want to. If you're not too big by then, who knows?
And
But no,
then
thank
I'm good. No, don't talk it.
exactly. But no, so where can we find more content, more information about you? Some of your sets. Do you have a link tree or something that we can use to, you know?
Yeah, I have a link tree. Yeah,
Perfect. So I'll put that in the links below so that
sure.
people can check you out because I yeah. Thing is, guys, a bit of a warning if you do listen to her, just be careful not to do it at work sometimes because
Yeah.
you might want to just switch off the computer and go somewhere else. So just be careful. But yeah, thank you so much for your time. and yeah, come back on.
Thank you. It was I really enjoyed talking to you. You have very nice questions and really cool. So I hope I come back. And I will send you a few links with things we talk about. I will send you a few links.
Oh yeah, please do. Thank you. Take
I
care.
think so. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you check out her sets online and on the links below, and make sure to follow me for some more awesome content. Take care. Much love. Have a great day. Peace out. Bless.